next game coming up is going to be Spale, I hope I pronounced that right, against Kazna crew. Kazna crew already got to play today, won their game. Spale is your first game today, so how are you feeling?
I'm very excited.
Now's your first game, so do you think your team are going to be calm enough to win it?
Yeah, of course. We'll try our best and see what happens.
I was already going to bet money on your team to win, so please don't let me down. You got to rock this. So yeah, your enemy's going to be Kazna crew. You already won your first game. How are you feeling?
Oh, we plan to have some fun now.
Sorry?
We plan to have some fun now.
Okay, but you want to win? Oh yeah?
Of course.
Okay then. So yeah, team, shake hands, have fun, and yeah, let's swing it over to the casters. That they get to, they're just going to run you through the games, run you through the team, through the maps, and enjoy the game.
Hello and welcome back to the Casters booth. As Stephen's already told us, we've got Spale, my favourite team, against against Kazna crew. We've got a couple of maps. We don't know what the third one is yet, but Himmelsdorf, which is a map we haven't seen today. Exactly, the first proper city map. We've had White Park, obviously, but that's a kind of like an Ensk, isn't it? It's a bit half and half.
It's half and half. Yeah. Really interesting how they will play on him stuff. If you see something totally new, if you try something totally different, unexpected.
I'm really interested to see what kind of lineups they're going to take. I mean, obviously it's going to be five heavy tank, but 5 heavy tank of what kind of variety? Are we going to be seeing 3 AMX 5100s? Are we going to be seeing KV5s? Are we going to be seeing IS3s?
Maybe we see a T69 on the hill.
Exactly. I mean, it's so many options. And I think people sometimes say, well, Himmelsdorf can be a bit boring, but you've got to look how they're using the heavy tanks. You've got to look, okay, they've got a KV5. How is that KV5 being used to advantage? How's it using its lots of HP? Is it going around corners? Is it taking the shots for its friends? And I think that's what you've got to be looking at, and it's good to watch when you realize that.
Yeah, if you've got a more view of the tactics and the technical part, what they try to play and how they play the map and the start and what they do with the T1s, you still can get a lot of information to read out. And
yeah, exactly. I mean, and obviously, the T1s. I mean, they're so important. I think when people sometimes watch 7 vs 7 for the first time, or even play it for the first time, they kind of underestimate the T1s. Even experienced teams, they take the T1s, they put it on the hill, they push too far, and they kill themselves.
Pressure. You have to send one heavy tank back if the T1's starting the cap.
Exactly.
And then you're missing the T8 in the brawl, in the big fight for your team, and then
it's
you
over.
lose it in the end.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because of this one T1.
And the thing about the T1 Cunningham, with that auto-loading gun, it can take out 2 T1 Cunninghams, no problem. 1 versus 2, it's great to see when that happens. And it's just like, well, this one T1 has taken out 2, and they still have the other T1, so let's go and cap. And it only takes like, what, 45 seconds to cap?
You can reset the cap with this automatic gun. The 5100 you easily penetrate from the side or from behind, so you can reset the cap, and you can win the game with the T1 easily.
It happens a lot. It's not like we're not talking about like uncommon things here.
No.
This happens a lot. We'll definitely see some sort of T1, significantly affecting the gameplay, affecting who wins these matches.
No one of this experienced team will force a fight directly with the heavy. So just send the T1s forward on the scout on the left or on the right side, or both going up to the hill. But first we will definitely see T1 action or T1 scouting before we see the heavy fight. So we will see how these teams will use these T1s.
And also the AMX 5100s, because usually what you see, if these teams decide to take AMX 5100s, which they usually do, at least 1, probably 2, how are they going to use those AMX 5100s? Are they going to put them up the hill with those T1 Cunninghams? It's going to be a question of, I think, who uses those 2 sets of tanks the most effectively.
And the last time I saw also on the Russian streams a common tactic that they sent 3 tanks up on the hill and just 2 to defend, and surrounding the enemy with 3 tanks, or just starting the cap with 3 and let 2 behind for defend the base, or just join as the enemy team try to reset. Or they just going only with 1 tank up to the hill. But you got the advantage to say, okay, the enemy thinking we got with 2 5100s, they never will send only 1 up to the hill, and they got 4 tanks in the good defensive position, and the enemy is trying to push in and expect only 3 tanks here, but you face 4, and then you can win this game about this tactical mind game play.
It's like poker, you bluff, you double bluff,
Exactly.
It's just like, well, some games are like, well, it's not obvious what the other guy's doing or the other team's doing. but you can kind of predict different strategies. Like each player has their different strategy, like say on StarCraft. But World of Tanks, it's more like, you know, what is the other team doing? It's a bit slow it's a bit slow to the untrained eye, you know. But if you look, it's like 10 different decisions by the team are being made before even the first shot is being fired.
That you wish you had more time to react, and more time to focus.
Exactly.
Because you have to decide so many things at the same time if it's going in.
And I think we'll definitely see these in Himmelsdorf. Probably definitely in Mainz, since Mainz is probably a more kind of balanced map than Himmelsdorf. Himmelsdorf is your archetypal city map. You know, it was the first city map ever introduced into World of Tanks, and it was like Wargaming saying, well, if we're going to make city maps, because you know Wargaming makes three kinds of maps. They make open maps, pure city maps, which they haven't made in a while, and the hybrid maps. And but I don't think they're going to make so many city maps anymore, because I think Himmelsdorf was like, how are we going to make hybrid maps? They're like, how are we going to design the city part of these hybrid maps? And then they said, well, okay, we'll make steps or Prokhorovka was released first, so to see how we're going to make the open areas of these hybrid maps, and then they combine them and it works. So looks like these two teams are just getting into the game. I think we're just trying out a few things, but tank picking should start very soon. At least a couple of minutes time.
What do you expect as a result for this game? Spale is your black house, so your favorite maybe
Spale,
for this
obviously,
game.
Yeah.
So you expect Spale will win this easily 2-0, or you expect a close game?
If this was an open map, I would say, okay, Spale wins this. But the thing is, this is a city map. I've never seen Spale on. I don't think I've ever casted Spale on a city map.
I don't think sure. Normally they ban them out.
Yeah. Well. I'm not sure how they'll play. I think some teams overthink city maps. Spale's an extremely clever team. I think they could possibly overthink it, and that could lose them in the game. But
the point is, they didn't play that often. Maybe they got an unknown, special tactic for this map, and they can really surprise Kazna crew with this tactic. Didn't know them really from the city maps, and if they are clever enough, and they're definitely clever enough for this, they can do something totally new and surprising, and can win against Kazna.
And you got to remember that these are just the group stages. We're only 2 games in, really. We're going into our 3rd one now, so it's early days for all these teams. You know, the first battle won't determine if they go in or out. All it will do is determine how much confidence they have going into the next games. Tomorrow is where the proper tank action will be going on. I mean, I can't wait for tomorrow, man. It's going to be serious carnage.
It's really awesome, the tomorrow matches. Today it's a bit, let us test something, let us check the enemy. If he's predict our tactics, if he's good, this tactic will be work. So you have time to try a bit on this high level. And tomorrow...
That's the thing, though. It's not like, well, we're playing World of Tanks esports, so we're going to play like this. It's like, okay, we're playing an offline event, so we're going to try all these different new tactics, because the game is constantly changing. The meta game is constantly changing. It doesn't matter if they're sitting at home or if they're sitting on the stage there. They're still trying out new tactics. And we saw Lemming Train push from the city on Mainz. We haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in a long time. So
it's the best place here to try against the best teams of Europe your new tactics. Because if you try it at home, you got maybe one training opponent, but it's mostly the same, or a third team, or second team. But here you play against the best teams you normally don't face on the trainings, because they don't want to train and show you the tactics.
You don't want to show them.
Exactly. So here can you really test what you have done in the last week, if it's working or not on the highest level.
And having said that, I mean, that kind of testing, you know, playing against high teams in Europe is going to happen a lot more with A Series, and obviously when the World of Tanks Pro League kicks off on the first of the month.
I think weekly games on two days.
2 games a week there will be. I'm not sure what days they will be on.
I think it's not clarified.
But you know, it'll be 2 games a week.
I think it will not be Sunday, because there's what.
There'll be 2 games a week, and then there'll be Go For What, and then obviously Wargaming will continue churning out those cool little tournaments to do. You know, Super 6, Easy 8, Mango Metal.
So I think it will be in the week.
I don't think it'll be Saturday or Sunday. Maybe it'll be.
I
it
expect
depends.
2 days in the week.
Because
Saturday is the normal World of Tanks Cups, and on Sunday we've got the ESL.
And Saturday there's lots of 3 versus 3 and stuff like that. So
I expect 2 days in the week.
But obviously, the teams won't have to be playing the A-Series matches anymore because they would have qualified. Obviously, the top 3 from A-Series would have qualified. The top 3 from Go For What would have qualified. Although
and the 2 teams from this loser finals.
The loser finals from the qualifying CeBIT. I think there's Owen Whitebeard in that group. Owen Pirates, I should call them, as they've renamed.
Owen Pirates against Leamington Lucky Kuraki.
Lemon Kuraki.
And the other is
Alpha.
Alpha against Meteor Makers, exactly.
And Meteor Makers. So I can't wait for that. It's going to be great. Some great teams in there. Huh?
12th of March, I think the games.
1st of March.
No, 12th.
12th of March. Yeah, I was wondering in the past.
No,
12th of March. Yeah. Pretty much when we get back, 2 days after we get back from CeBIT, they'll be online. So I can't believe how many games there are, man. It's really starting to get crazy. I mean, but
looks like we are ready for the map.
Looks like we're ready to go into Himmelsdorf for this group stage Himmelsdorf match. We've got Spale versus Kazna crew.
Spale.
Spale.
Spale, yeah.
Everyone says Spale, but it's Spale, right?
Spale,
I always get these names wrong. I'm awful with names. But yeah, it looks like they're starting, so it's going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah. Going in for a small video of the map.
Yeah. We haven't seen Himmelsdorf before, so
something new.
So I'm on board with Spale, my dark horse team. Well, Magus will be on with Kazna crew. I'm just seeing where they all go in at the beginning. It looks like 2 AMX 5100s are pushing onto the right side. Nothing, well, it's quite unusual because usually they go up the hill. But as I said, this meta game is constantly changing. I'm just wondering exactly where Muppety will go. Will he go up that hill, or will he go down in these hull down position between these houses? But let's pop over to Magus to see exactly what Kazna crew are doing.
Kazna is just going for the 8 line with the 5100 and the KV5. T32 is just covering the mid. They spotted the enemy tank in the base, so they know that they are also going for the 8 line. And no, spotted again. And both, they got up, it was 2 tanks, the T69 and the 5100 with the T1 going up to, that's what I say, maybe we'll see a T69 here, and then you can use them on the hill and part with the 5100. And another T1 totally on the other side just to secure this area here, and that nothing happened on 1 or 2 line without notice.
It looks like Muppety and Veko are having a little brawl here. Obviously, Muppety is hull down in this position, although his front hull is kind of vulnerable. But as long as you can't get side shots, this is a fairly good position because that armor is 130 millimeters plus normalization and everything. So, but he did get a good shot onto Veko. Another good shot onto Veko. 329 damage. While Hyber does take down Moki Lumi.
Spale lose the first T1 on the hill, and the second one was also spotted on 1 line. So if they lose them again, they got a really, really big disadvantage.
Yeah. And I think, talking about Veko taking a couple of shots, as I always say, these teams trade too much. Some teams trade too much easy HP at the beginning of matches, before any kind of engage. They're just wasting hit points, Veko. He didn't need to take any damage there. He wasn't going to spot anything else apart from that T32, so not exactly sure what he was doing there. I mean, he has plenty of HP with that KV5, but
if we switch, we can just see where he get the hits directly here in the turret. It was a bit unlucky. Normally he got really good armor here at the position, but we see perfectly where the 2 shells hit from the T32. And he's just trying to use the mouse track here called again.
But let's pop over to Spale as they push on that 2 line. Well, Dovahkiin pushes on that 8 line. It looks like they're going to have a classical pincer maneuver onto Kazna. I'm going to follow Muppety, just exactly see if he can get a couple more shots onto Veko. But we could see an extremely good engagement here as these heavy tanks and the 2 T69 push onto this KV5. Theory and I'm not sure what player that is, but pushing onto the back behind them, getting a couple of good shots into Nalem. He goes down to 17 HP. 1 more shot and he'll go down, 286 HP.
And Muppety will go down soon.
Muppety will go down if he doesn't get behind Vatili. But he does. Great blocking from Spale there.
Yeah, I think he was tracked from Pilau and the 5100 who tried to save Veko's life. and just fire.
But Dovahkiin, brilliant player from Spale, is going besides Kazna. I wonder if he's going to get a couple of shots onto those tier 8 tanks. It looks like the AMX 5100 from Kazna is actually reloading. Nalan does take a bit of a big shot there. I mean, minimum damage, but he's only on 28% HP. One more shot and he will go down, or 2 more shots and he will go down.
I think actually Kazna is trying to get a bit more time, just playing defensive, because they got 2 T1s. They want to kill this T1 on E1 from the enemy team and just trying to cap. They notice that they got no chance in an open fight, so they're just playing defensive, just getting time for the T1s to bring the game-changing move if they start to cap. But I think soon they will kill the second TC2 from Spale, but Tila is really low on 5%, and there he goes down. And now you got the advantage. But
then Spale is pushing on to Nalam. They will take him down with a couple of shots. Brilliant shots, brilliant move from Dovahkiin, and I'm not sure who he is, as I've said before, but it looks like Pilauda and Haiba are kind of splitting up a bit here. Both teams on 3 tier 8 tanks each. What will happen?
I think the T69 and the Pilauda and the 5100 as well are reloading. And it's just only the autoloader 5, so it's maybe it's a question who reloads faster. And the 5100, I think it's Uralfish playing in, it's on 50%. And Pilauda is on 100%. Haiba on the T69.
Oh, Massey making a huge mistake. He gets taken down by Cobra Leone. That means they have a T1 Cunningham free to do whatever he wants. He will go for the cap, and he will make one of their tanks go behind. So Spale has to move now, or they will lose this match.
Now they join in from 2 sides. Pilauda and Haiba do a good job. They're losing Haiba, but they also managed to kill the 5100. And like I say, they're just waiting and to get time, the Kazna guys, to get the T1 behind them and make pressure on the enemy team that they have to react on it and just move forward into their guns. And now, it's a 2-on-1, and I think they will finish the T69.
I think Dovahkiin will go down. I think ultimately that was pretty even game. I think the problem was there. I think Kazna did get a couple more high damage hits than Spale, and B, I think they just reloaded quicker and they had tanks in a more hull down and defensive position than
maybe
Spale.
It was even from the KV5 he got 300 hit points more than every. Maybe these 2 shells he get more was the game breaking point.
Exactly, But let's see who did the most damage in this match. I think Dovahkiin did the most damage for 1.5k for Dovahkiin. Who did the most damage on Spale? 2.3k from Still Mojo almost.
That's Kazna,
from Kazna even. So good damage. As always,
like you say, it's split it up to everyone, because you need 5 good players in the heavy tanks, and all have to cover each other, and you have to split the damage you get, and also you deal to the enemy team. So it's really important that all teams are in the game and nobody get darkly focused out or just out of position. I think ultimately Spale got a little bit unlucky there. They did take the initiative on that map, but taking initiative on Himmelsdorf is extremely hard to do because obviously when you're pushing tanks and you have equal number of tanks against them, the tanks that are sitting there ready for you are obviously going to get the first shots. They're going to be able to reload quicker, and they're going to be able to take you down ultimately before you can do it. So it's always like that. Really close and really exciting match. So I bet we will see 3 maps here. I think
we'll
Spale
see 3
will come back on Mainz now.
But we're going to head over to a commercial, then we'll be back for the second game on Mainz. Spale versus Kazna crew. and welcome back to Kazna crew versus Spale. My dark horse team, Spale. I hope they can get a game back here because I'll be devastated if they lose the first game. But we've got Mines, my favorite map, definitely my favorite map. And I think tank picking has started, so let's have a little look at that. Let me have a look. The thing is, a guy called Wargaming CeBIT.
Yeah, it's
Pro
Eurofish.
12.
It's a leader.
It's Eurofish.
It's
okay,
Eurofish,
he had a problem with his account, I heard.
Yeah.
So Eurofish is the team leader of Spale. So T1 and T69. Haven't seen the T69. Well, we saw one on this map, I think. Did we?
Yes.
We saw
Lemon Train used
Lemon Train took. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then we saw Kazna crew already play on Mines, and they are taking that Bison again.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're going to take a Storm Panzer 2 this time.
I expect the same. Yeah. They will play the same setup. But yeah, hopefully Spale watched the game also.
Yeah, I think they watched the game.
Can imagine what they want to do.
Yeah, double AMX 3090 from Eurofish. That quick tier 8 French light tank. I love that tank so much, man.
Yeah.
And Lorraine 15551 from Eurofish. So he's taken that big artillery, unlike Kazna crew. If it pays off for him, it will pay off for him 100%, and he will win the game.
Is a really good arty player.
He's incredible, like unbelievable.
I bet on him he will do this damage in this game. Yeah.
He's almost as good as me. Almost. Almost. All right.
Don't try.
Don't
try.
Eclipse from Red Rush is almost as good as me, but he's not quite. But I haven't really played artillery for a long time, so I'm very bad. Looks like Hyber is actually taking one of those big tier 7 artilleries and a Bison. So I'm not sure how that lineup's going to work.
Maybe he uses VZ 131, this tier 7 light. Maybe, but I can't know.
It could be anything. I mean, it's so confusing.
Every tier 7 tank could be. Maybe Tiger P.
That'll be
for a city push.
So AMX 5100 from Spale, nothing too unusual. Obviously, AMX 5100 doesn't have good gun depression. So
no, they use the Bison instead of a T2 light tank. That's why they got the 2 points.
Yeah, that Bison is a T2 artillery. Obviously, artillery doesn't start from a T1. So, I'm wondering how much. If I can have a quick look, actually, they did nerf the Bison in 8.4. I can't exactly remember how much they nerfed it by. I'm gonna have a quick look. Actually, I've got the
premium ammunition or what?
The heat ammunition of the Bison. So, let me have a look. I think it's.
I think you have to check the gun if it was nerfed.
Yeah, I think they nerfed its gun a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have a look. I don't know.
I can also try. But but I think they didn't would play it if it's nerfed like.
Yeah, they.
It's really a big nerf. I think they
nerfed the damage, didn't they? No, damage is the same.
Okay.
I don't think they nerfed anything really. They said they would nerf it.
No, it's the same. It's 300.
Same, yeah.
228 penetration. It's exactly the same like before. Maybe the fire rate is a bit slower.
I think the fire rate's a bit slow. But I can't remember what the fire rate was. I mean, I know the fire rate is. The fire rate is like 15 seconds, so it does look about right there. 4.4 rounds per minute, 15 seconds is fine. So. I don't know, maybe they decide not to nerf it. Good for them, good for Wargaming, good decision. I love the Bison. I'd hate if they nerfed it.
I really like
They nerfed the SU-26, man, and that destroyed my heart. I love that tank. I mean, it's unbelievable when it was like fully in operation. You could just destroy everything.
The good old times.
Good old times, man. Good old times.
Even if you manage to get in a platoon with the T8 heavy and then shooting the big tanks with the premium shells and just buzzering every heavy on the map who can't move.
But looks like both teams are ready, so we're just going to go another map overview on Mines, and then we'll be a second game of Kazna crew versus Spale, Intel Extreme Masters Grand Finals in CeBIT.
Let's go in.
I think you just got to write you're ready, and then we're done.
I will write that I'm ready, and then let's look if we start the game.
Yeah, I think you're not in the game, man.
Huh? Yeah, I'll write it.
No, you're not in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. There we go.
So,
and we're ready, sorry. He wasn't in the game, he was in garage. So
I was still on the test tree.
Hello and welcome back. I'm following Spale, and you're going to be following Kazna crew.
Yeah, Kazna is playing again from north. I think in the first battle they played also from the north.
Yeah, let's have a look what Spale's doing. We know what Kazna crew are doing there. It looks like Spale is sending a T2 light and an AMX 3090 to the left, while sending Dovahkiin in that T69 and Moki Lumi in that AMX 3090 to the middle, leaving the T1 just to go to the city, while Theory stays in that AMX 5100 here. I'm wondering exactly what Theory's going to do in this position. I mean, you do often see it, AMX 5100 staying there. Yeah. He will just be there to support those two light tanks and those two light tanks. But what's going on the hill? I think there's shots being exchanged.
Oh, really big hit by the RT.
Beautiful shot.
Totally done.
We were just saying that Eurofish is a brilliant artillery player. Yeah. And it did, we were saying, will it pay off for them with that tier 7 artillery? And it did.
Paid off. Yeah, you already have done the damage and...
Yeah.
You have to done.
And Dovahkiin will have the confidence to push on the hill now. As you can see, he's testing the waters. He's waiting for Moki Lumi to push up, and they will push the hill. Dovahkiin's obviously a lot slower than that MX 3090, but he decides not to push the hill for some reason, leaving that.
So I'm not sure if there's something spotted where's the position of the 5100 maybe on A3, or they didn't know it actually. So you have to be carefully. And Haiba is he's down to nothing. And if you expect he would play the old 3090, he would already dead. Yeah, it's just
he
this new tank. He is still alive.
Yeah, exactly. That's the T69 extra 200 health points coming into effect. What is he doing there with the?
Yeah, we can. I switched over. I think they're trying to go to the city and regroup all forces here. They also relocate the artillery, but they got absolutely.
But Cobra Leone is spotted, and Dovahkiin is trying to get some shots onto him. While Moki Lumi also tries to get some shots onto him. They are kind of defending.
We'll switch to your vision. We can show this fight.
Yeah, Nylem is also spotted. He's going to get one more shot onto him. No, he doesn't have the gun depression. The gun depression on this tank is awful. It won't even nearly clip the superstructure of the hull. So I'm wondering if they'll push a little bit further forwards with this 1390 to try and spot that Bison again. They know where Cobra Leon is. They just have to prioritize and really see if they can get him.
I think Eurofish have done also a hit on Niflheim in the 1390s.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, 70%.
Yeah. The point is, they got the map control, they got the hill now, the RT is relocating to a position that they can shoot on the tanks.
But Muppety is pushing up into Kazna Crew's base. That's a brilliant move from Spale. They know Kazna Crew is over by the city, so they're putting the T2 light in a position where he can just be completely free to spot the artillery even. So.
Yeah, but he will only find the Bison because the whole team is on the other area. But Moki Lumi spotted him from the hill, and then a second T1, the T1 was spotted the heavies. And
some T1 Cunninghams are being exchanged, but Muppety will be able to take down this Bison if he gets a good shot on. Well, Cobra Leone will be able to take down Muppety. He doesn't manage, he misses his shot, and Muppety will take him down.
The Lorraine get countered.
Wow, Eurofish countered Still Mojo. Unbelievable.
Really nice. Yeah.
Oh, but Muppety did make a little bit of a mistake, leaving his back end exposed to those two French tanks. But Vatila will be able to take him down, no problem at all.
Vatila, yeah, and Kazna has got a really big problem. They can't do anything. They're getting surrounded more and more, and they get spotted from the hill passive all the time. So they got tanks behind, in front, and even this one shot between the tanks, Haiba still on 74 hit points.
As you can see, Moki Lumi is just trying to, and Dovahkiin are just trying to spot those two French tanks below. Proxy spot, because obviously you have a 50-meter rule where if you're 50 meters for any tank, you'll spot him regardless.
But Eurofish is moving up, and I think he will position on A1 or A2, and then they can just kill them on this position. So Kazna, they know that, and now I switched to my position. They decided they have to do something, and they just pushed totally forward with all tanks, just going for an all-in move. I think they want to try to go to the cap and just bring it.
They already know they are a significant disadvantage, and they're just trying to do a play because they know if they stay there, they will lose the game anyway. So Dovahkiin's going to come on top of Haiba. Will he get the kill? Unbelievable that he jumped on top of him. If you look at my screen, he just jumped on him and he took him down, but he is stuck. so it will take him a few seconds to get out of that position. But that's what I'm talking about, Dovahkiin, showing why you're such a brilliant player.
Yeah, but Kazna decided to go up to the hill and try to get this hill back, but they also get the cut pressure, so they have to be really aggressive, and also Artie behind, so yeah.
Vatila pushing onto Pilauda, taking him down to 50% health. Nalam is there as well, but Vatila will be able to take down Pilauda, no problem. Yeah. And Moki Lumi is going to try and...
30-90s left.
Yeah, he's going to try and do a couple more shots onto him, and he will be down. But it looks like Nalam has a couple more shots in his autoloader. So
yeah, no, he's got
no,
Amarak.
he's done. He's Amarak.
Yeah, he's Amarak actually.
So he'll have like over a minute reload.
Over here, you can see it. He's Amarak.
Yeah, he's Amarak. Yeah.
And then now try to escape that, but it's more or less useless what he's trying, because they are capping and hunting him, and he will die soon. Yeah, and we will see a certain map, like we predicted. Spale
I predict Spale come back in mines.
Yeah.
So GG to Spale. Brilliant tactics, to be honest.
Yeah.
All over the map, not really pigeonholing themselves. I think the winning move on that game was the T2 light tank pushing up into the cap and taking down the Bison.
Yeah,
well, not taking him down.
Exactly the location of the enemy team. They know, okay, they're all on the right upper side of the map. We can just move the RT up on the island side and just can finish this game. It was really, really nice, yeah.
So I'm not sure what our last map is. We know what the first two maps are, but
I bet on Prokhorovka.
Prokhorovka, I'm thinking.
I'll see it on your screen. That's why.
Yeah, is it? Oh yes. I think what's happening right now is that we have 3 maps, and then we'll add a new map each group stage. So now we've played quite a few games on Y Park. We're going to replace Y Park with Himmelsdorf, and then Prokhorovka or Mines will be replaced by another map. So I think that's probably what's happening. We're not changing up all the maps each round, so you get to see different perspectives of each team, how they play the map differently, even how they progress in their terms of how their meta game is on that map. So it's good. It's good. I think it's a good idea. As you can see on your screens, we have a couple of guys from Kazna crew, and they look pretty serious. They're pretty game-faced.
Yeah, they're totally focused. Yeah, just talked yesterday short with them, and after the first event in Katowice, they say we trained harder and we want to get a better spot here, and we want to show our real thing. I
think they've already qualified for the World of Tanks Pro League. That's what this is all really about. This is just a taster of what's to come. I mean, when they've already taken a spot, if they win this, the 5,000 euros in this, then it's just a bonus,
Exactly,
the real money is going to be in the
bonus.
Yeah, exactly. It's just some pocket money. If they want to buy some, like a new iPhone or something, it's just a bit of money. But the real money is going to be if they want to buy a new car, then they can win World of Tanks Pro League.
Exactly, and not a small one. Yeah.
And welcome back to the casters booth for this third and final game on Prokhorovka. Tank picking has started. Basically, in case you don't know what tank picking is, when teams they take they get to choose 2 tanks, and then the other team chooses 2 tanks, and then it goes back and forth.
The home team chooses the side of the map they want to start, and then the first 2 tanks, and the second team decided 2 tanks, and then back. Yeah.
So that's going on right now. We have a Hyber taking the 1390 MX 1390 and a T1 Cunningham, while Spale, Eurofish, has decided that he just wants to take the same. You often see the first pick being the same.
But it's also a kind of mind game.
Exactly.
You can just check what your enemy is trying to play. Just try to hide your special tank and pick it as last, and just a bit of mind gaming, more or less.
And I think it's just another level of complexity to the game.
Exactly,
you don't just have the game, the fighting and the shooting and stuff. You just have the real this is my strategy. Can you read it from the tanks I have? How am I going to be using let's say if I take a Lorraine artillery, how am I going to be using that? How am I going to be using a T50-2? So these teams will be thinking, okay, they've taken that tank, so how are they going to use that? How are we going to counter that? So that's the great thing about tank picking. A lot better than the old system when teams just arbitrarily took whichever tanks they did until they had 7.
You pick all tanks, and the enemy team decided, oh no, then we play another setup.
That used to happen a lot. That was horrible.
Exactly.
2-timed T69 from Spale.
That's
that's a strange pick. I mean, it's not quickest tank in the world, but
it's not really strange. You can play it really aggressive. I see also on the Russian server you can just pick 2 or 3 of them and just going directly to the mid because you're reloaded after 20 seconds. And you could shoot the enemy 39s or 5100s while they're driving up on the safe position.
Yeah, that's true.
Already, and you even can fast kill the scouts.
You have a pretty good view range as well, so you could potentially even spot artillery. I mean, certainly the light tanks going into the middle. And, it's always one of the good things about Prokhorovka is that T1 Cunningham is, it's pretty important, so it's good to know where it is, because let's say the T1 Cunningham's going to the green side, where the road is. If you spot that T1 going there, they're just putting it there as a placeholder. They know that's
the safest area.
Yeah, just knowing they're just putting it there just in case the other team pushes. So you can just kill that T1 and you've got that whole side free. So always good to spot those less important tanks, which are not less important at all at the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah, but Kazna is also now picking a T69 and 2 T52s already picked. But it looks like Spale is playing without T52s. Spale is going for this T2 light tank, a scout only, no T5 scouts, and
that's a bit of a strange. I think they probably just want to rely on the more direct damage of those T69s as opposed to the more indirect damage of the artillery, and perhaps a little bit more unreliable damage of the artillery. Which it pays off sometimes. It pays off in 50-50. It just depends on how well the team's playing.
Block this T52s from scouting in the early game with the T69 because they know, okay, they are reloaded and will kill us fast. And you still can this T2 light in maybe on totally left or right side, just surround the enemy. They can't focus with the heavy tanks on this T2 light because they have to block the enemy team. Because like SBDP, they've done it. Butcher's going around when some tank is going for the T2 light, T8 tank, you have to hunt him maybe, and you have no choice if the enemy attacks you. You directly have to start the fight with less 8 points.
It's not just how much damage they do. If you lose missing a tank, it's not just how much damage you're missing from that tank. It's also how much hitch points you're missing from that tank. If you have like 3 tanks there and they have 4, they have like 1,000 more hit points. If it's like an AMX 1390, 1,100 more hit points, and that can save another one of your tanks. Because it can just drive in front, take a shot, and that's it. That tank can now retreat and get in cover. So you've always got to think about that. Not just about the damage; it's about the HP as well. So.
And the enemy got 1 target more or 1 tank more.
Exactly. Deal with.
Deal with.
Looks like. Spale ready, so we're just waiting for Kazna crew to ready up. We're ready, and there we go. We're ready, so I think we'll probably be
the full distance and a third map.
This is going to be a great map, a great match, I think. Whichever team wins this does win this round, so it's always good. We're just going to go into a quick map overview, as we always do, just to see what the map looks like a bit. So, see you in a second. And welcome back. We're Spale versus Kazna crew on Prokhorovka, the final game of this round. I'm just going to have a look exactly what Spale are doing with those 2 T69s. Looks like they're just sending them straight across over to that city side. Pretty unusual tactic from this side of the map. Usually you see the south side pushing over to that side. So just see what...
Kazna is doing exactly the opposite. They're going full strength on the 1-2 line. Just the T52 is going for spot, the T69 and the 239 is hiding, and on the left side of the map is only 1 tank, the T52, Cobra Leone. He's just checking what's going on in the city, and they focus with all other tanks here. Playing aggressive with his T1 as well, just making 1 or 2 line secure, that the Arctic can early move to this position. And let us check what the T52 Cobra Leone spot on the other side.
Let's pop over to Spale. They're playing pretty defensively at the moment. Looks like they had a change of heart. As you can see, Dovahkiin and Vatila are moving away from that hill. They were actually driving up that hill for a few seconds, but they decided, well, it's not such a good idea. It'll probably take them a bit too long. So they've just decided to occupy this side. Where are Kazna crew on that side at all? Let's have a look.
It's got only a T-52, a Coppa Leone in the mid, but everything else is on 1 or 2 line.
Yeah.
They're just trying to shoot unspotted from behind bushes, and that's a T-52 scout. And no, I think the next step is that they try to finish Mappety from this Coppa Leone. But, oh, nice. Spale tried to kill Coppa Leone now.
Moki Lumi coming out of nowhere, taking that AMX 1390, T50 down with that AMX 1390. They saw he was out of position. They saw he was chasing down Mappety, and they just capitalized on that, and they just
no, they're totally arty open.
Yeah, they are an arty open, but they should be able to get safe very soon. And that's the thing, you know, that was a brilliant move from Spale. They just pretty much just said, okay, well, they're making a bit of a mistake by pushing this T2 light. We're just going to push through the middle. We're going to take him out, and boom, you have a tier 5 light tank.
You can perfectly see on Kazna side what you can do with the 39s. Pilauda and Haiba staying behind bushes. The T52 near Valim is just spotting for them, and they can shoot without getting spotted from this behind the bushes. Vico will do the same. He's staying here, driving a bit back. He doesn't need to spot by himself, because the T52 is spotting for him, and he can just aim, shoot, and didn't get spotted.
Yeah, I mean, you see that quite a lot. That's kind of a... it's not such a new thing to do. I mean, it's just... You know, it's more for artillery, that kind of thing, isn't it? You know, not just for the 3090s, it's more for artillery just to get the shots on. You know, even if he's splashing tanks for 200 damage, it's still 200 damage your tanks won't have to do later. So every little helps.
Oh, they are still here in this area. It's really unsecure. I don't know why they stay so long. I think they don't.
The thing is, Spale could
move out.
Spale could kill that T50-2 if they wanted to, because there's still that hill between Spale and Kazna, so they could kill that T50-2 and they'll still be safe from the 1390s.
Yeah, but if they're going up, they get definitely 2 or 3 hits, and the problem is...
Yeah, here we go. Moki Lumi pushing onto the T50-2. One shot, he gets one shot, he misses it for 560 damage, and there we go. He goes down. I told you, I literally called it 2 seconds before.
Yeah, but gets the 3 hits. He's down on 47%. That's also the problem, and they're still totally arty open. I think it's not the best move, because now they got with 3 tanks here, but the 5100 is far away in the back of the city. And now, if Kazna push in, they got the gun 3-on-3, and Vatila is really low. And now I think it was an arty hit. No, he's in 1 shot.
No, he wasn't. Oh, there we go. Vecco taking out Vatila.
Yeah, the 5100 is far out position here behind in the city. He can only shoot while they're driving in, but now they can easily finish here.
Yeah, those 1390s were probably... They did a couple of shots, so they were reloading, which just let Kazna crew push in on them. And it looks like they have a significant advantage at this point, and it's going to be hard to see how Spale come back from this one. They are going to be able to take down the T1 Cunningham. Looks like over on my screen, the T2 Light's pushing on that T1 Cunningham, but you know, Spale are going to have to really play well to be able to come back from this. Eurofish missing his shot onto Haiba. 280 damage coming out from that heat shell on Haiba again. So this looks like Kazna crew has this, but it was such a close game.
Yeah, it's still possible. But,
it's still possible.
Uralfish have to do a big hit on Pilauda or Haiba. You have to one-shot one of them in the fight.
You got to remember those AMX 1390s and the T69 are probably reloading, and certainly AMX 1390.
Thierry is also on reload, I think. Of course, he shoot definitely 3 or 4 times, so I bet he's also on reload.
Yeah, obviously these guys are using camo. This camo gives you 5% more camouflage.
Just missed on Pilauda, so I think now they will go and finish the 5100.
Yeah, they'll finish the 5100. He is spotted. There's no camo value on this tank at all, so still Mojo will get a shot on him. But it looks like Theory is going to get the last hit onto Pilauda, and he goes down.
Really nice move. Oh, arty as well. Yeah, I think that's...
It's over, yeah.
Oh, no.
One more shot and Haiba would have been down, but...
it looks like Uralfish managed to kill Haiba now. We will see the arty fight. Yeah, let's go up to Haiba, what he will do. He's an important person now. Great games.
Yeah, well, you know, Eurofish could still bring this back. It's a shame he didn't manage to one-shot Haiba. Very unlucky in that situation, but...
I don't really understand why the right GG, it's still not done. We had it last time on an A-Series game. Lorraine Arty killed 3 of the enemy tanks in the last few minutes. He killed the 2-1, won 1390 and a VK28 alone, and managed to win the game. So.
Yeah, well, if you've ever played artillery a lot, you know you can still claw games back from nothing. I mean, all he needs to do is get one shot onto that T69, and then he just needs to hunt down Still Mojo. And then it's really about who gets more lucky with dispersion, because the Lorraine 15551s will turn, they'll aim at each other, and whichever one's got the less health or gets more lucky will win.
Von Heiber, I think Heiber will finish it now.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, he's aiming for him, and it's unspotted in the bush and let him drive through. They got 8 points on the lead, they don't have to risk anything, and they can also let the arty work while he's just staying and spotting. You don't have to shoot even on a
it did look like Still Mojo just took a shot against Heiber, shot against Eurofish. Yeah. I don't think they want that T69 to be spotted.
And now he missed.
But he does take a shot. He only hits the track. Another shot. Oh, and Still Mojo takes him down. GG to Kazna crew, 2-1 on Himmelsdorf, and they won Himmelsdorf and Prokhorovka, so GG to them.
Yeah, 2-1 against Spale, your favorites.
Oh, I know, man. But it's the first game they played, so they just Kazna crew's already played so many games, they're warmed up, and Spale just playing their first game, so they still showed a lot of potential, so...
Yeah, definitely. Not the best start in the tournament, but even not the worst. They also win one map, and it was really, really close and exciting matches.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a bit of an analysis. We're going to analyze these games a bit. Quite a lot to analyze because there was 3 matches, 3 games,
a lot
3
of
maps.
Interesting stuff we see.
Especially on Himmelsdorf. I'm really looking forward to looking what happened on Himmelsdorf, because Spale did take the initiative there, pushing in with those their MX 5100s behind and the T69 through the middle. So
those teams used the T69 on Himmelsdorf. It's also a point we have to discuss later in analyst days, why they use it and how they use it, and which team.
It's great to see the 2 teams showing a lot of sportsmanship, shaking each other's hands there. I think these guys have they've met each other before at other offline tournaments, and all these guys are good friends. They play against each other, but at the end of the day, they go back to the hotel and they have a beer together and have a good time. So
exactly, we had the same in Katowice. Really a long evening on the bar with Kazna and Spale.
I had to fly home that day. I missed out on that one. So So
I think we can go to this stage. Steven will go for the interview.
We're going to stage interview with the 2 captains, so see you in a bit. I'm not sure if Steven's ready. Yeah, stage is not ready at the moment, so Steven takes a while to get up those steps, I think.
It's really
it's a lot of steps, man.
Yeah,
4 or 5 steps. He could do 2 maybe, but 4 is pushing it a bit.
Not that easy for him. But I'm really happy about this result. It's okay. Kazna, I think
Kazna
it was a
pretty
close
strong
match, but in the end, Kazna was a bit more.
Yeah, they're looking a bit more oiled, a bit more.
They played the game before against was it SPP? So
they're a bit more warmed up. I think that's the main difference between the 2 teams. I think they both had, they're both as skilled as each other. I think all these teams, there's no clear winner here. All these teams are as good as each other at the end of the day. It's just about who's better on the day and who's better at offline events, I think. Exactly. So, I'm just going to have a look at who did the most damage in this situation.
Check the artillery.
That's all I want to know, the artillery. 1.5k...
by Eurofish.
No, 500 by Eurofish.
Only 500?
500, yeah. And looks like Still Mojo did 1.6k, so huge difference.
What hit Eurofish? He hit directly in the beginning one of the light scouts, though?
Yeah, I think so,
I think so.
And he took down the artillery, so that's 400. So,
400, strange. I expected he'd have one of the big hits. So
we're going to toss it over to the stage. So see you in a second with the analysis.
Okay, that was a really intense game here. Spale against Kazna crew. I was sitting here with Bomb watching the game, and he went for Kazna crew. He said, "You're going to win." I have to be honest. I thought Spale was going to win the game. So was it a hard game?
Yeah, very tough, especially on mines. They really had a good spawn for Arty, and they literally destroyed one of our tanks before even the game started.
Yeah, so for me, that was at the moment the best game of the tournament. So it wasn't a close thing at the last game. Well, there was only Lorraine left against Lorraine and AMX 5100. I was like hoping, come on, Lorraine, kill Kazna crew, kill them, give us a good scene. But yeah, you was cold, you just pulled it off, and awesome game. So you're still sticking to it, you're going to win a tournament?
Yeah, of course.
Did you hear Lemming Train that they said they're going to win a tournament? What do you think about that?
They're going to lose.
Yeah, you'll see when they play against you. Okay, we are going to swing the camera right back over to the caster so they can analyze your game. It was a really good game, so I think they've got a lot to talk about. You guys stay tuned, and yeah, see you later.
Yeah, welcome back here on the Analyze desk. Simon is back again here.
Yay, Simon. Yay. Simon Says. Let's play Simon Says. No, let's not analyze anything.
Okay, let's play. Simon Says. Stop playing Simon Says.
Okay, anyway, let's go. That's a paradox right there.
That's practice. So many people say that.
Well, we was not the first to try this.
Yeah, that's true, it's true.
It's taken a while for this thing to come up.
Yeah, but I mean, those games.
Yeah, really.
I was watching that. I was watching the crowd, like people in the crowd, like.
Yeah.
We heard them from over here. Shots going in. It was.
Yeah,
it was
so
beautiful.
Close. On every map, it was so close.
Yeah, it was really cool. And one thing I would say actually, while we're waiting for the games to load or the replays to load, the crowd here have been really, really awesome.
I haven't had an opportunity to look at the crowd.
They're rammed down there. There's loads and loads of people.
So
it's really cool. So it looks like we have an issue with that. So we'll just talk about the games.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a
problem. We can talk crap about the games for ages anyway.
Yeah, let us start with Himmelsdorf. We see a T69 on both sides.
I'm so happy to start seeing those.
I'm really happy about that. It makes every game of its
favorite thing. Yeah, it's his favorite thing. Yeah.
You should get a T-shirt with just "I love T60, I heart T69." You know, loads like "I heart New York." But I heart T. Dude, you'll be able to sell so many of those.
I think
Screw it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make loads of money off this.
You should wear it for the next thing. So, in fact, someone on the stream, if you want to make him I heart T69 T-shirt, then feel free for it.
Okay. I think we got the replay soon. But on Himmelsdorf, back to the T69. Both drive up to the hill with T69. They do no damage on the hill, so it's just showing up here.
They took a T1, one of them killed a T1, I think, and that was it.
Yeah, yes, sure.
The T69's, it's one of those, do you want to try on that computer?
Okay.
Yeah, the T69's one of those tanks, you know, it's even more so than the AMXs that you need them in the pairs or in even threes at some point, because whilst they're very, very powerful, the actual damage that the shots do is actually pretty low. It's like 300 damage, 200 damage, like maximum.
It's 220, I think, average.
220, yeah. So super low damage, but really good penetration, which is great. So I mean, it's interesting to see that's how the tank works and that's how it runs. We have Himmelsdorf.
Hey.
If we just fast forward to that tweezer move Spale did in that one.
Fast forward
tweezer, yeah.
Is that like a pincer, but like much more accurate?
Yeah, exactly. It was. they're Finnish, man. They're always accurate about this. They don't use tweezers, far too inaccurate.
Yeah. I think so if we can switch over, we're up. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, in here. Yeah, and you see basically the T69 is going up to the hill with the 5100, and both teams focus in the beginning on the 8 line on the hill. But I really don't know why they placed 2 tanks on C23 on this position. They're totally out of combat if enemy team push on 8 line or even on the hill. And they spotted the enemy on 8 line, so why they didn't not directly decide to bring them 2 tanks back into the game and switch the position.
Yeah, I mean, it's a waste, isn't it? I mean, that's the thing. And, something you notice a lot on Himmelsdorf nowadays is the teams that do this whole, we're not sure where they're going to come from, so we're going to play a bit defensive and spread our tanks out, almost always lose those games. Because you can't afford to spread your tanks out like that on Himmelsdorf against a team that does a decisive strike in a specific area. And
as you can see, Spale doing that decisive strike there. And we were saying in the game that this wasn't necessarily a bad tactical error by Spale. It was just more that the Kazna crew got a couple more high damage hits. They were in a little bit more of they were in a better position once this fight resets a bit.
At one point, the mistake from Kazna was here. The T1 from them was really, really too passive on J1, so they didn't see the 2 5100s coming on the 3 line. Normally, you have to play more aggressive with this T1 on the 1 line, or you have to set him on exact the position where the 5100s are now on G2 or 3 to just spot this. Then you can't get surrounded. It's just a big fail from this T1 position.
And as you saw in that, I think perhaps one of the reasons why Spale lost was because that T32 took like 90% damage, and then the other T32 behind him was on 100%, and Govicki was on 100%. So I think he went just a bit too far forwards, took a bit too much damage, and it just took too long for the T32 to block
even
him.
On this map, you could say the loss might have been down to this is their Spale's first game,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of this, what happened here was definitely about Spale had the better tactic on that attack.
Yeah.
They had the better position on that attack.
Yeah.
But Kazna just kept their heads, and at that point, Kazna, Kazna already been warmed up for one game, so it's actually quite common to see that a team that's actually fresh, hasn't had that warm up, is going to lose that first game, which is funny. And then going into the second game, I really didn't expect. At that point, I was like, called it. Kazna's going to win this.
Yeah.
No.
And then Spale just.
We called the exact opposite. We were like, well, Spale have warmed up a bit. I've seen them play on mines before. They're extremely good at mines, so I thought, well, I think they're going to take that one. But
we were discussing it before that they didn't play that well on city maps. Spale is more for the open maps, and okay, they lost on Himmelsdorf. They say, okay, never mind, it's just a city map. No, we go on mines, the open map. We will make it. And
so if we can jump over to mines, I don't know if that's possible on this computer. So I think it should be.
Directly go into mines.
Which one's mines? Yes,
Yeah,
it worked first time. Oh my god.
And directly start. Yeah, and we see the common move here. They drive with one tank to the island to make him secure. Yeah. There's the 3090 going with one tank to the city and one passive to the hill. It looks like no team want to dive directly up to the hill. They just want to check if enemy team is going up and make this road to the hill secure.
I think that it's definitely nice to see that the use of the T2 light as well now. I mean, the mix of the Lorraine and the T2 light just adds that bit of extra bit of stuff on there, which is pretty cool. So it was actually, this map was one of my favorites to watch, and there was some really cool points there. Some stuff that I was like, they've done this just for how it looks, when you have the two AMXs coming over the hill and the other one chasing him over. I was like, they're just doing this for the video. This
T69 is crashing down from the hill around this.
T60, he jumped on top of another T69.
Exactly.
That was incredible.
I
didn't have the camera on him for that time.
We'll put it in the recap video, because we'll have the replays. So we'll put the Gumba Stomp in, because
that is like
anytime you get a Gumba Stomp.
I will fast forward.
Force-to-ra! Boom. I'm never going to say that again.
Him off the thing and the thing. But I mean, this game was really exciting to watch, mainly because of how the tactic was just so. You just got it here, but do you switch off it just as it happens?
It was an ART hit, and I saw it on the background of my screen, and I directly switched to high bar. I think I was on the island just checking what the 3090 is doing, and then I see 1,300 damage, one hit, bam.
It was. The RTs did make a big difference in this, I think, as well. So in both games we saw that heavy RT hits.
A really good RT player from Spale.
He's incredible.
But this game all of these games could have gone either way. They were really, really close games. And as I said, the way the crowd reacted, you could see that the crowd felt the tension in the game, which is really what we want to see in these tournaments. So
it was really, really amazing.
I think the introduction of these fast-paced, fast-firing tanks, especially something like the T69
is coming in.
It makes it super exciting, and it's a great counter to the MX 1390 because it's got the damage to take one out,
it's got
and it can take the hits.
No, it's got the reload as well.
And the reload, the 20-second reload is just
it's insane.
And this was also, I will pause your shot. This T2 light move was also
that was
really,
one
really
in the game, I think.
This RT hit in the beginning that they can secure the hill easily because Hyber have to go back, and the second one was that Mopati got that aggressive on B2 and makes the whole base area secure. There's no RT on A1, there's no RT on A3, not even on A5 in the small city. They're totally on the right side. You got the whole map control, and then directly after they spotted this, Uralfish moved from K1 to D1 and got everything in this range.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, if you play from here, I think that it shows the importance of these light tanks in the games. Mopetti really just does an amazing job here. Obviously, skirting the cap to show that he's not coming. There was some
try to cap here. You see it?
He's dodging the cap, which is great. I mean, it's a great shot on him to take him out before he takes out the Bison, but then the shots just rain in. So
the 1390 comes up behind, doesn't he?
I mean, and it shows that T2 light, because it's such a fast tank, that he's able to do that. But a great shot on him as well.
Always on slow motion, so normally it's even faster.
T2 Light was the first tank that ever could go 72 kilometers in this game.
Oh, really?
And 72 was the hard cap.
He's a fountain of knowledge.
Man, I know all this stuff, man. I had like 400 battles and beat on a T2 Light, man.
I must have think. I think that shot to take out the T2 Light was also epic. I thought that was great. It just
like carves through the bushes and stuff.
I was like, how did you make that shot? But there's some amazing shots in the game, so it's really good. So
yeah, but you see, it's basically lost the game because you can't do anything on the hill. They got enemy tanks behind them. They got enemy tanks. They got the arty can always shoot.
Yeah,
and Kazna just penned in now.
Exactly.
There's nothing they can do.
Uralfish also managed to kill still Mojo in the enemy arty, so they got also no arty left, and still this 74 hit points type 69.
Just looking for.
I think these the Kazna crew at this point are kind of like just a bit stuck in the headlights, and they kind of they don't panic, but they kind of say, well, we can't really do much else, and they decide to push.
That's the way it goes, and it is good to see that they kept their head moving on to game 3.
Yeah,
so
the last chance they tried here was this all-in push.
Dovahkiin realizes that these guys are on full health, and he knows that Hyber's on low health, so he just waits for him, and then he takes him out. I mean,
exactly.
They single him out back there. Now we missed the Goomba stomp at that point, and then I think the camera cuts to it. There's the Goomba stomp in the background, and then there's just a camera cut to Oh, and there he landed on.
Damn it! That was so epic, man. I saw
We'll put it in the video. It's in the video. Well, I hope if we find it. I have an employee at the office just watching these and marking down points in the games so that when we make the video we can go faster.
Is it Burbo?
Yeah. Burbo. It's Burbo's job today. This is how good Burbo's job is. His job is watching a live stream all day.
Such an easy job. I bet he's got a pizza there as well. We can't eat pizza. Damn him.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately we don't have the video for game number 3, but moving to game number 3 to talk about.
Yeah,
game number 3 was intense.
It was a great game.
Some of those.
Prokhorov is always intense, though.
Yeah, and I think Spale did a great job in coming back from that negative position.
Exactly.
I think it was a really, really good move for them.
Yeah. But both teams watched the first games of Prokhorov because they learned about they can't go from north to the city and they can't go on the open from the south. So they switch the position. South team go to the city, makes this area secure, and north team directly go to the left side of the map. And
it was a good move. And actually, I think Spale, like you were saying, they were decisive when they needed to be.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that they were in such a bad position for artillery, and a couple of fairly nasty shots came from Still Mojo there, and it was like,
You know, I think that's the problem when you're pushing from that side. When you're pushing against the forest, obviously the guys in the forest have the higher ground. They can push down from a pretty easy position. But when you're playing from the other side, you can't. You have no such luxury. Yeah. So you're pushing onto tanks, which can just counter push and take you out. And obviously, once you've shot with those autoloaders, you've done a couple of shots, you know, you're 400 damage down, and fully reloaded tanks can just come on and take you out. That's exactly what happened.
But that's the thing, when they come over the hill against a T-50-2, I mean, the T-50-2 died, but it took like 7 shots to take it down.
Yeah.
So they'd wasted so many shots on it, and then they were against a line of AMX 1390s that were just sitting with full ammo, full shots ready, and they just, as they came over the hill, it was just everybody went down, and it was
also
just the way it goes.
Spale lets the 5100 far away in the city, and pushing forward only with the 3090 to kill the scouts, and then Kazna
and then they were like, let's push further, and then but
the 5100 is so far
your
away.
Heavy firepower's back there.
You can just push in and kill
We saw
them.
that same when you guys in Katowice, you push your 2 T-2s along that 2 line on the forest where the road is. You lost them, but you know there's not a lot of damage taken, and you just push them.
And you know their whole team is there.
And you just counter push, and they'd already shot a few shells into you, and you just destroyed them. So
I'd be interested to see. I mean, we're going to see probably a fair bit of the same map tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm quite interested to see if any teams work out a counter to that tonight, because I liked what Spale did, and I think that they had the right idea.
They just need to get the execution.
To go back and think like, what could we have done better in that situation? You know, would it have been good to push there at the same time as moving forward the AMX 5100, just to have it sitting by the hills, the rock on the hill? There, it can just fire out its shots on, and when it hits when that tank hits, it really hits hard. So
it does.
That was also what we talked before the game. Is the teams showing today the tactics for tomorrow, or they're just trying and testing something?
Actually, something
special tactics for tomorrow.
Something that SNE was saying whilst I was waiting to come here. He was saying it's funny how they keep banning out Abbey, because Abbey's actually really quite like Mines in the way it plays. But we also
I
think,
like Abbey.
Yeah, well, so do they. When we wonder if it's because they're banning out they don't want to show their strategies on Abbey, because Abbey is the one which has the most kind of really
it's the most dynamic,
big rushes down the side, and I think the teams don't want to show off what they're going to do in Abbey.
Maybe, and also the new Live Oaks. Is Live Oaks not on the map pool for today?
I don't think we're going to play. I don't know, actually.
And I think about the thing about Abbey, I think no team is really comfortable with it, because it is such a map that can
crazy,
go. It's crazy, exactly. I mean, no team feels comfortable because anything can happen.
Well, when you see a team like Spale banning out a map like Abbey instead of Himmelsdorf, there's either something they're going to do on Abbey that they don't want to show, or they really don't like Abbey at the moment. So I think probably we're going to see some interesting, strange strategies. I mean, I'm wondering if we'll see an all T69 lineup at some point tomorrow, or at least a heavy T69
or like
lineup.
3 T69s and an AMX 1390 or something like that.
Also an option.
And like you were saying, on the Russian servers, it's very common to do these big T69 rushes at the moment. So be excited to watch that, you know.
Yeah. We're going to go on to a break, it's going to be a while, so maybe we can get someone up here for a bit. I don't know.
Well, I think it's time for the crew need to go and have a sandwich.
We'll have a sandwich.
They're going to die back there. So
I think we'll be back in 30, 40 minutes, something like that.
I think we're going to do maybe a half-hour break while the team's set up, so don't go away.
Get yourself a coffee, have a smoke,
and stuff.
we'll be back.
Do some push-ups. I always say that and everyone hates me saying it on the stream, but it should be really good. So.
Yeah. See you in a second.
So we'll be right back.
Bye.